Hey guys, happy Monday night. And I wanted to just share a couple thoughts. I was sitting here working on what a crazy last couple months it's been to be a home buyer or seller, and was thinking about exactly like the number of questions that I get per day, or in general, where people are asking like, what if I know that I can sell my home? Like people are really understanding the nature of the market right now. But what if I sell my home and I have nowhere to go? For those who don't realize, over on Instagram Reels, each day or 30 days, I'm answering almost a more or less ask me anything type of a question where I'm just fielding questions. I've had a number of direct messages, I've had a few email responses, asking questions about real estate in general, and I'm just answering them in a short 30-second segment. This particular question has come up numerous times, and I knew that it wasn't going to be something I could answer in 30 seconds. I wanted to go in a little bit more depth and share some exact experiences on transactions that I put together over the course of the last couple of weeks where we've dealt with exactly that. Like, what do I do if I don't know where I'm going to go and I have to sell my home? So it's not going to be like in the past where I'll share like my screen. I do have a screen share at the end that I'm going to share, but it's very analog. I just kind of made a list of these questions or these experiences that I've shared, and I came up with a list of like 7 things, 7 ways to handle the problem of where do I go if I get my home sold, but I don't have anything lined up. So 7 on the list, nothing to do with how many Super Bowls Tom Brady has won, but hopefully, as always, the information I'm sharing is the greatest of all time that you'll see. So without further ado, number 1 consideration: consider new construction. For the first time in southern New Jersey, we have seen some groundbreaking on new construction, new residential construction in our market. In addition, there are a number of projects that are in early to middle to late stages of due diligence with developers that are going to be bringing more new construction into our region, which has been something that's been basically non-existent for the last decade. So that's an exciting development. For people that are looking to sell a home but don't have anywhere to go, considering new construction is an option where you can contract with a builder, and you're not going to need to necessarily take delivery for 6 months or 8 months or longer, and you'll have plenty of time to get your home sold before that new home is built. So number 1 on my list: purchase new construction. Tied in there, maybe even, and this isn't necessarily for everybody, but buy land with planning to build. So I do have a close contact that recently, actually, they bought the land previously, but just put their home under contract because the construction process is going to start. Number 2, I wrote down: sell and then rent, right? So, and it could go one of 2 ways. And I've had several transactions like this. I just put a transaction together over the weekend where the seller is selling their home. They're then going to rent for a short period of time while they figure out exactly where their end place is going to be. And it's going to put them in a competitive, non-contingent position as a buyer once they go to settlement on their house as a seller. So the ability and the willingness to sell and then rent is something that also is will create the opportunity and certainly answer the concern. Tied into that answer: sell and lease back, right? So another transaction that occurred over the just during the holidays, actually closed during the holidays, where that particular seller, they're building a new home and the construction is going to take close to 12 months, 10 to 12 months. They're leasing back their existing home. So their home's sold, they went to settlement, they're leasing it back for 10 months while their new home is being built. So that's a possibility and a consideration for someone that doesn't know where to go. So those are a couple options. Another one would be, and this doesn't happen all the time, however, I'm tying it to another reason. I wrote down contingent offer. Right? You'll talk to a lot of agents that are going to say that that's absolutely impossible in this market. I'm going to tell you that it's not impossible. It's not as easy, but it's definitely very much possible. And I'll give you another example of when it's even more possible, right? I have a contingency contract on a property that had multiple offers that was accepted last week for a buyer that I represented. So can we get contingency offers accepted? Yes, we absolutely can. The tie down reason with the contingency is considering exploring locations, either geographic locations or price segments of the market that are not as competitive. This puts you in a more competitive position as a buyer, and you are able to consider getting an offer accepted that includes a contingency. I have another transaction that went together last week where I represented the seller in this case. We accepted a contingency because we were closer to the top of the market, which is not quite as competitive as entry level. The buyers that are buying that home have an entry level home that they're going to sell, but it put them in a better position where they were able to, they felt confident the home would sell immediately. The sellers of the bigger home that was not as a competitive a market felt comfortable that they had the right buyer, their home would get sold. All in all, it worked out. So it was, moving from a very fast moving segment of the market at entry level into a move up into a bigger home that wasn't quite as competitive, made that possibility a reality for this particular buyer in this case. So moving into an area, exploring less competitive segments of the market is another answer. Extended closing, right? And this comes with a few caveats. We have had transactions where we've had a buyer who wanted to buy a home, right? They had to sell. So what they did was they extended the closing on the home that they were going to buy to give them time built in to be able to make financially, if they were able to make it a non-contingent offer, that gave them the ability to feel confident that they weren't going to lose the home and they were competitive, but that it also built in time to get their home sold so that they weren't going to carry two homes at the same time or for any kind of extended period of time. So a couple caveats with extended closings, but again, any questions, dig in and ask, and I'm happy to help. And then the last one, kind of 6 and 7, I wrote down the possibility of additional financing like a bridge loan and or HELOC. And I will share my screen here, but a HELOC, if you're in a high equity position on your existing home, and this is whether you're downsizing or upsizing, but if you're in a good position, there's a lot of banks that have some very attractive HELOC products where somebody can borrow the money to turn around and buy their next home. Then when they sell their existing home, they simply pay it off. The second option is a traditional bridge loan, and that's where I'll share my screen here quickly. As we can see, their bridge loans come in many different shapes and varieties. I'll drop a link to this particular page in the comments here. But you can see this explains exactly what a bridge loan does, how it works, how it empowers buyers to be able to buy a home that they otherwise would not be able to buy. It loans them the money to make the purchase. And then when their existing home pays off, hence the bridge, they simply pay off the bridge loan and refinance into a final end loan on the home that they purchased. So here's some basic analysis of how this particular bridge loan works. There are many that are on the market. Again, if you have any questions about how any of that works, please don't hesitate to reach out directly. I'm going to drop this link in the comments so you can explore it more. And that's basically it, right? Whether you are moving into a larger home or downsizing, again, this question has come up. There are hundreds of thousands of people across the country that are in similar positions, whether their family has expanded over the last year and they need a bigger home, or their work situation moved and now they need to, they want to move to a more rural location or, closer to the shore. Whatever the plans are, there's a lot of people that are out there. You may be one of them looking for a way to fix the solution once you sell your home and you don't know where to go. How do you facilitate that? How do you make that easy and answer those questions? So reach out. Hopefully this information was helpful. Happy rest of your week here now that we are, believe it or not, right, we're almost in another week, we're going to be halfway through the first quarter, which is crazy, 2021. Have a great night. Look forward to helping you. Look forward to being a part of your plans this year. See you soon.